Alignment is based on the customer journey. Customer journey is made up of 5 steps. Attracting customer to the channel, converting browsers to buyers, maximizing margin, delivering the product, and after-sale service. These 5 steps map to 5 departments. Attracting customers to channels is a marketing problem. Converting browsers to buyers is an IT system problem. Maximizing margin is merchandise. Delivery is supply chain, and after-sale is customer service. So then these 5 departments will then map to the actual business model. So this is where we represent who, what, and how. Who is in the market and the customers we're targeting. The what is in the product and the offerings, and the how is a combination of the sales and marketing and logistics, and finance is there to keep everything in check. So this is just, very high level, simple illustration to basically talk about creating organizations, basing the organizations on the customer journey and the customer experience. So we believe the best example for that is Tesco Direct.
Yeah, so I joined Tesco back in 2006 and inherited a business plan that said they wanted to do non-food internet effectively, because they had a white label with a catalogue company was just doing electricals, and they wanted to, they saw how well Argos were doing actually, and they wanted to grow their non-food internet business. And within a year, we'd launched Tesco Direct. And I think on the previous slide, we basically mapped out all those different segments and said, what would we need to do from scratch to build this? And the only thing that we really shared with the main Tesco business was buying resource, because I didn't want to add a whole additional sort of mirrored buying team into the organisation. I just wanted to leverage the existing relationships they had. But we went through the whole process and created in-store collection points, which at the time, back in 2007, no one was really doing. So keep all the stock in a central location in the country and then just send it to stores when required. So Tesco Direct actually was the real thing that made click and collect mainstream. Argos were doing reserve and collect, but we were the first ones to take stock from central warehouse and send it to stores. We had cross-docking onto the grocery delivery vans. So we were doing 2-hour time slots back in 2007. And all of these things were put in because we spoke to customers, and the customers said, wouldn't it be great if you could have non-food deliveries on the grocery vans in 2-hour time slots? And I think the thing I'm most proud of actually was when we designed the technology, we created a platform that enabled us to actually open a copy of an Argos store within 12 months of getting Tesco Direct live. And we were able to do that because of all the things we've just talked about, because we had all of the product data in a form that we could use across multiple channels. We were able to do in-store digital stock checkers, which is something that it took Argos another 6 years to get into place, just because the Argos got very old systems, or had very old systems, and getting data out of that systems was almost impossible to use in this new digital age. So it was a fantastic experience actually, Tesco Direct, and still going strong, I think.
But the key thing here is what Steve has done in 2006 on Tesco Direct is taking Tesco from a pure online into a full-blown multi-channel, and that was massive achievement, back then in 2006. And some of the features, that were created. People talk about omni-channel today. Only a year ago, in terms of creating that kind of all the channels appear as one, but this is something that we started to do even back then. The second is agility. So we talked about how you create that kind of responsive merchandising, marketing, engaging with customers, with the various other stages. And again, the best example to really bring this alive is the work that we're doing now with ACHICA.
Yeah, so hopefully going live this week with our new tech platform. I think the biggest step forward for us is around personalisation, actually. So those 350,000 products that we've had live over the last 12 months, if you're an ACHICA customer, you get one email and you see one homepage, which is, in this day and age, sort of almost embarrassing, actually. So we're trying to put tech in place that enables us to segment and personalise the experience you have from ACHICA. in whatever language that you want to interact with us in whatever country that you want to interact with us in, and I think that's just the start for me of moving out from that sort of B2C core into working with other people. So I think my 350,000 products would have a value to someone else in the market as a sort of white label opportunity. I think those 350,000 products would have a social value in terms of people being able to share those products. So I need a platform that enables me to unlock all the potential of all those products and the 4 million customers that we have. And I sort of say to my investors that this is a core investment in the future of the business. This is a platform that's going to enable us to do anything we choose to do at speed, rather than starting from scratch with an in-house IT team every time.
And the title for this presentation, the whole thing about moving from 1 to 7 was really inspired from the ACHICA case study, because that's the target, that's the objective of the organization, to go to quadruple the revenue over the next 3 to 4 years by flexing those business models. Moving next to the customer centricity and talking about the customer life cycle. So we talked about the 5 steps, from insight, lifestyle, experience, personalization, and reward. And a good example to highlight this is Carphone Warehouse. Carphone Warehouse, after the joint venture with Best Buy, have moved hugely in terms of the number of categories, the number of SKUs they provide, but they only had 4 promotion types. So they had requirements to have a lot more promotions to be in line with customers' expectations in terms of lifestyle and promotions. Was also important at the time, and this is back now, 2009, to have cross-channel promotions management. So when a marketeer creates a promotion and publish it, it goes live across all channels. So by the time we finished deploying the solution, we went live initially at 850 stores in the UK. So we went first with the bricks and mortar, and then after that added the websites, the customer service, various other touch points to reach 1,200. One of the key features of this is the ability to link promotions to segments and drilling down to one-to-one marketing, where relevant, where needed. So these were the features, if you like, in terms of achieving this. Taking something as complex and typically rigid as promotions management, with all the complexity of creating promotion, and then deploying it, creating a far more powerful way that you can basically describe any kind of promotion to go live.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that I chose to work with IVIS is that there are two challenges that most businesses underestimate. One is their promotions engine, and one is their product information system. You've only got to read the stuff in the paper around ASOS. So ASOS can't differentiate pricing between different territories, which in this day and age is crazy. Whereas the promotions engine that you get out of the box with the Sonetto product has over 100 different types of promotion that they've worked out the logic for how they work with each other and how they interact. Because once you get nested promotions, 3 for 2 with a price reduction, with £10 off when you spend 50, that's quite a complex set of logic that needs to be built. And back to my point earlier on, why would I want to invest energy in my organisation creating that from scratch when I can just pick it off the shelf and have a huge amount of variety of promotions to engage my customers with?
Moving to collaboration or ways of working. So these are the 5 competencies we talked about: the change, the communication, effective meetings, problem solving, decision making. A good example of that case study is something we've just recently done in China. Broadcast is one of 10 fashion brands in China, and a 15-year-old brand, 800 stores, 90% of revenue comes from franchising. And like many businesses in China, you don't really have to do much more than just opening a channel to make money, to make revenue in China. This has changed in the last 12 to 18 months. Now retailers and brands find themselves, they have to work a lot harder in terms of differentiation. So this is an example of an organization that, in focusing on increasing revenue 20 to 30% every year, signed up many franchisees over the years, to achieve the financial goals, but ended up having a disconnect between the brand as you see it in Catwalk and the brand as you see it in terminals at the store. This has created lots of friction and lack of collaboration between the partners. Production and merchandise don't talk to each other. Marketing and merchandise have challenges in communication. So that's basically, that was the context in terms of what we had to deal with. And we assisted in terms of understanding the motives and the drivers and the priorities, providing best practice processes to help in the organization to think and act as a team rather than individual silos. Lastly, innovation. There are lots of examples in terms of how innovation is moving very quickly. Some of these products are gimmicks, some are real, they bring real value. Some of the favorite ones for me is Nordstrom have done a number of things. One is they can track where customers go, which departments they spend more time, and they can evaluate performance of various departments and ranges based on that. And they've gone beyond that with they are one of the best case studies out there in terms of big data and analyzing the consumers' data, and with mobile apps and iBeacons, if customers opt in, as they walk into the store, the merchandisers, the sales staff have very good picture on what these customers like, what they want, their preferences, and are able to have a far more engaging conversations. An example from Adidas, as you wear your trainers, when your trainers will have enough and need the replacement, it will tell you so as you pass an Adidas shop. Various other examples in terms of in-store kiosk, virtual wardrobes and so on. And a case study for that is, again, something we're launching now in Malaysia with Maiden. Maiden is the largest local retailer in Malaysia. It's a hypermarket. And we're launching a solution that basically allow customers to do click and collect, scan products from underground stations, lockers for the fulfillment, responsive apps and so on. The main challenge of the organization is they are facing the same problems as everyone else in terms of high staff cost, retention issues, skills, and hence we're creating a combination of both consulting and a platform solution to provide them with that kind of agility, such that the system can actually be trained by the merchandisers, by the marketeers, in order to actually execute these, in terms of automating these tasks for them. And to summarize, we hope in the previous 40 minutes, 45 minutes, we gave you something to think about in terms of moving away from just thinking about channels as means of communication and channels as disconnected, touch points and streams to talk to customers, and to think more about what's the strength of the organizations, what are the assets of the organizations, and how to leverage that in different ways, in different mechanisms to reach larger customer segments that are in line with your brand values